Ever dig through like old photos or letters? It's like you're suddenly right back there, isn't it? That's the feeling we're going for today. We're diving into John Suderman's life from 2008 to 2013, all through his Christmas letters.
Like a time capsule. But we're not digging up like old toys. It's those small details, those quirks that make his journey so him.
Exactly. It's funny, even in that first letter, 2008, John knows he's making a highlight reel. He apologizes for the length. And wow, he wasn't kidding. This thing's practically a book. He even jokes about leaving out the boring parts. But watch out, he says there'll be a test.
What's fascinating is, even knowing that, he's being intentional, not just an update. He's crafting a whole narrative, bringing you into his world.
Right. And he asks for everyone's address. Wants to mail physical copies next year. Remember doing that. There's something kind of nice about it, wanting that real connection.
Different pace of life then. That effort to stay connected, even when life gets busy.
Okay, let's jump in. 2008. John's fresh out of university, diving into new things. Two big ones, running and tech. Remember when having an iPhone was like a big deal? John was pumped to get one thanks to his new job.
And that's interesting, that early tech thing. It kind of pops up again, like a little theme. That love for gadgets.
Totally. But it's not all about the new stuff. This year, John gets the marathon bug. And not just any marathon, the Disney World Marathon.
Ambitious, even for a runner. You see that drive already, that push to test his limits. It gets even bigger as we read on.
Speaking of pushing limits, he survives a classic airport mess on the way to his uncle's wedding. In Seattle, overbooked flight, free meal vouchers, the works. He even jokes about his uncle finally tying the knot. Even with the chaos, he finds something funny.
You see that ability to laugh things off, even when stressed. Pretty useful, don't you think?
For sure. Now, in 2008, there was also loss. John's grandfather passed away. It reminds you, even with good things, there's also sadness and reflection.
And that's something we'll see him handle throughout. Those ups and downs.
Yeah.
Life.
Right. Totally. Okay. 2009. Get ready. John's inner marathon man. He is here. Not just a hobby now. Full-on passion.
You feel that competitive spirit? Disney World Marathon. Calgary Marathon. He even ran a 10K. In minus 30 degrees. That's hardcore.
Right. And it's not just John. His mom ran the Calgary Marathon with him. That's some family fitness goals right there.
Says a lot about their family, pushing boundaries, supporting each other's goals. We'll see that again.
Definitely. Now, big year for John and his brother, Andrew. They bought a house. Remember, John said he hated shopping. Apparently, house hunting was worse.
But you can tell he's excited. When he describes their place, he and Andrew got a bi-level, called it Suderman, a place of their own. It's a turning point, don't you think?
Huge. And it's not just buying a house. He gets a Stampede Gate Pass that year, too. Imagine the food.
Oh, yeah, he'd be in his element.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, though, something changes in 2010. Remember Marathon Man? Well, he skips Disney World. Even more, he's on a mission to get, wait for it, healthy.
Seriously. He even gets a Wi-Fi scale, the kind that posts his weight online. Talk about commitment. What do you think caused that?
Hard to say, but it's like he's pushing himself. Different way this time. Maybe that drive we talked about. Just finding a new outlet.
Interesting. And while he's fighting those pizza cravings, he finds a new thing. Baking pies. Who knew?
Shows you there's always more to discover. Even with someone you think you know. Those surprises, right? That's what makes this fun.
I'm with you. But it's not all baking and calories in 2010. Remember how John hadn't left North America? That changes. Big time. He backpacks across Europe.
Quite a change from those marathons.
Right.
This time it's all about the experience. Different cultures. Paris, Rome, Pompeii, even Monaco. And get this, his friend Doreen, she hooks them up with amazing hotels. Like way out of their league luxury, he says.
Doreen for the win. But even with all that fancy stuff, John, he misses ice water, free restrooms, ketchup. It's funny how, even when we're blown away by new things, we still want those little comforts from home.
Exactly. Those little things, we all get it. Even someone like him, living it up, still misses the simple stuff.
Totally. Fast forward to 2011. John's back to his routine, dodgeball tournaments. Late night snacking, been there. And lots of family time.
What? There's this hint of, restlessness. He gets a new car, well used, a Subaru Impreza, and has to learn stick shift, like he's ready for something new.
Speaking of new, how about that Vegas trip with his siblings and dodgeball team? Cirque du Soleil, Phantom, even screaming on The Price is Right. He fit a whole year into one weekend.
And, of course, he tells his mom it was all wholesome fun, keeping it PG for the Christmas letter.
He does have a way with words. But even Vegas has its hiccups. John breaks his finger during dodgeball, puts the marathon on hold.
Reminds you, no matter how planned you are, life happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes got to roll with it, right?
Totally, but like always, John bounces back, goes to Winnipeg, his grandfather's 80th birthday, that close family. It's a constant in these letters.
Definitely a source of support for him, you can tell. And as 2011 ends, he's about to turn 30. Thinking about, well, life, marathons, new hobbies, even mentions wanting more than just the bachelor pad. But he has no idea what's coming next.
And that brings us to 2012, the year John's world changes, but in a good way. Before we get there, though, any guesses? We'll be right back with the next chapter.
All right, 2012. Feel different, doesn't it?
Hmm?
This letter, it's lighter somehow.
Yeah, there's this new, I don't know, energy, and it's all about, well, someone named Janessa.
Janessa.
Right?
Remember eHarmony. Proof it works sometimes.
Yeah.
John goes from marathons to, well, let's just say it's pretty cute.
It's really something, how she changes everything. Suddenly we're reading about horseback riding, country dancing, even snowshoeing. Across the Alberta-BC border, no less.
Whirlwind and the adventures. They don't stop. Family cruise to Florida, Busch Gardens, Disney World, even Harry Potter World. Like he's making up for, I don't know, lost time.
And get this, he's still training for that marathon. Even buys a gym-grade treadmill. Builds a home theater around it, dedicated. Or just loves his Disney movies, maybe both. But the best part, Hawaii. Takes Janessa to Maui with her family for a whole week. And still, somehow, keeps up his marathon training.
Impressive. And it pays off. He gets a new personal best at the Calgary Marathon. They even do a mud run together. Talk about a team.
You can see, right, it's not just, I don't know, dating. This relationship, it's changing him, how he faces challenges. And just when you think it can't get more romantic, bam! Trip to England, cream tea, sightseeing, meeting the family. This is serious.
He mentions these secret plans. Something about his sister moving to Edmonton. But we don't know what yet. Not till the next letter.
Okay, get ready. 2013. This is the year John goes from single to, well, you know, happily ever after. And it starts with a proposal. So sweet and so planned out.
He goes all out. Family, pictures, a slideshow, music. And it happens at the Calgary Zoo, where they had that first date.
Full circle. And then it's wedding planning. Last minute changes because of that big flood in Calgary. But even then, John's still upbeat.
And so in love. He says the wedding was the happiest day of my life. And raves about Janessa, how amazing she was during the ceremony. You can tell, this is it for him.
And of course, it's not a John story without adventure, right? Honeymoon in Kauai. Because why not? Camping with Janessa's family, even cheering on Andrew at Ironman Canada again.
It's amazing what he did in just 6 years. New runner to marathoner, bachelor to husband, hated shopping, now he's a homeowner planning a wedding.
He really went for it, huh? New things, letting himself change. You know, what gets me is how these little moments and these letters, they add up to something, well, big.
It's like that saying, it's not the big things, right? It's the little ones, those moments you share, the people. That's what makes a life.
Exactly. So next time you think, oh, just another day, think of John. Because sometimes those ordinary days, they hold the best stories. And you never know, maybe someday someone will be reading yours, putting together all those pieces, the joy, the love, the adventures, the things that made your life, well, yours.